McDaniels was fired and replaced with running backs coach Eric Studesville. Now, owner Pat Bowlen has brought in former great John Elway and ex-Panthers head coach John Fox to turn this beleaguered franchise around.
Certainly some optimism there for Broncos fans that minds like John Elway and John Fox will be able to turn the franchise around. To make a good start in that turnaround, they're going to have to start tonight with the number 2 overall selection. Let's take a look back at their draft history to see what they've done in recent years. In 2007, the selection was Jarvis Moss, the defensive end. In 2008, the Broncos struck gold with Boise State tackle Ryan Clady at number 12 overall. 2009, the pick was Noshawn Moreno, the bruising running back from Georgia, who they are still waiting to break out and become a real star. And 2010 was the physical specimen, Demaryius Thomas, the wide receiver from Georgia Tech, followed shortly thereafter by their selection of quarterback Tim Tebow. Guys, we begin right there. What is the need for the Denver Broncos?
For the Broncos, it's got to be on the defensive side of the ball primarily. I'm thinking line.
Tom, I have to cut you off right there. The pick is in for number 2 for the Broncos. They didn't need any more time. We go back to Melissa Connor for the selection.
With the second pick of the 2011 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Von Miller, linebacker, Texas A&M.
Ryan, Josh, and Jeff.
From Texas A&M is the pick at number 2 for the Broncos, who needed help all over the field, Tom.
And that's one thing Von Miller can bring to the table, is a guy who can make plays all over the field. It's 6'3", 246, and with a 37-inch vertical leap, this guy can get to the passer. He's able to make plays all over the field. He's going to stand up in this 4-3 defense for the Broncos. This is a good fit.
Yeah, certainly a good fit for the Broncos. You have to wonder why they didn't go tackle at the number 2 spot with such great tackle prospects, Marcel Darius, Nick Fairley. They finished 31st in the league in rushing last year. That is absolutely atrocious. You were thinking that they were going to try and find a tackle, especially John Fox loves those big defensive tackles, as we saw with Chris Jenkins in Carolina. So I kind of expected them to go that way. Interesting they took Von Miller, probably the best guy available on their board. Certainly will make a giant pass rush with him and Elvis Dumerville. I'm interested to see what they do there. Should be an exciting defense.
Sure, maybe a bigger need for a defensive tackle there, but it's hard to argue with a player of Von Miller's caliber at the number 2 spot overall. For more of a breakdown on Von Miller and what makes him so special, we go to another one of our draft experts, Josh Norris, in the film room.
Von Miller is a name that might not have been highly publicized throughout the college football season, most likely because he played for Texas A&M. However, he's been on NFL front office's radars for over a year now. He's so special because of his versatility, play recognition, and nose for the football. Here in A&M's annual game against Texas, Miller is lined up as an outside linebacker in the 3-4 scheme. Notice a down and distance, 3rd and short. Miller's first read would be run. Off the line, Miller takes a hard step upfield while watching the offensive tackle's first step. Although it appears to be a run play going away from him, he reads the tackle's footwork, which is a pass drop. Miller seamlessly reacts with a special upfield move, almost getting parallel to the ground while still accelerating into the backfield, forcing a hurried throw. Now watching the play again, you can see just how quickly Miller diagnoses the play. This is a classic example of pressure being just as valuable as a sack. Later in the same game, Texas is again faced with a 3rd down. This time, it is an obvious passing situation. Miller is now lined up on the left side, matched up against a slower right tackle. On the snap of the ball, he explodes upfield, showing incredible quickness. With that quickness, Miller splits the attempted double team, gets the quarterback, and nearly forces a turnover. There is no doubt Von Miller is the elite pass rusher in this draft, but he is not perfect. Miller needs to spend some extra time in the weight room, as well as pair his stellar speed rush with a complementary power move. Miller's dominant play in the Big 12 and at the Senior Bowl will surely translate into production at the next level.
Thanks, Josh. Von Miller was the pick at number 2. Now we turn to the Buffalo Bills with number 3. They are officially on the clock, one of those tortured franchises that we talked about earlier.
The 2010 Buffalo Bills matched their 2009 campaign with 4 wins and 12 losses, tied for second worst record in the NFL. They started this season with Trent Edwards at the helm, but after 2 rough games, Coach Chan Gailey made the switch to Ryan Fitzpatrick. With help from Steve Johnson, Fitzpatrick became the most productive Bills quarterback since 2002, throwing for over 3,000 yards in 15 games despite facing a heavy pass rush. Touted rookie C.J. Spiller impressed in the preseason but had under 300 rushing yards, and as a team, the Bills struggled to get anything going on the ground. The defense also had problems with the run game and was at the very bottom of the league, allowing 170 yards per game. With such a porous defensive line, teams rarely even bothered to pass against the Bills. For Buffalo, the 2010 season was highlighted by sloppy play, resulting in their inability to win close games and a disappointing finish for fans and players. In order to succeed next season, the Bills will have to be able to establish and defend the run game, and will be looking for a player to help them do just that.
Buffalo Bills on the clock at number 3. Let's take a quick look at their draft history to see if they can improve any in 2011. In 2007, the pick was Marshawn Lynch, the running back from California. In 2008, the pick was Leotis McKelvin, the cornerback from Troy. 2009, defensive end Aaron Maben, who has been a colossal failure so far. In 2010, just to show you how much the Bills have failed in recent years, taking a running back once again with their first-round selection, C.J. Spiller, the speedster from Clemson. Guys, how can the Bills improve on this selection this evening?
Well, first off, they've got to go after this defensive lineman. There's a guy, Marcel Darius. Probably Denver passed over him. This guy's the best guy on the board left. I think he's going to be the pick here.
Tom, I have to cut you off. Sorry once again, Billy. The pick is in for the Buffalo Bills. Melissa Connor, what do we have?
With the third pick of the 2011 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Marcel Darius, defensive tackle, Alabama.
All right, someone a Buffalo Bills fan. Actually, her father's a big-time fan now. You just spoke on the phone with him. Marcel Darius is the pick. What is he thinking right now?
My dad's really excited. There's been years where he's been down, 3 years in a row, in fact. He's built sort of a wall around his heart, and he's trying to get excited, but not too sure what to do with all that emotion. We're hoping things work out for us this upcoming season, so go Bills!
You said build a wall around their heart. Well, hopefully with Marcel Darius' pick, they will be able to build a wall up front on the defensive end, guys. It's a good pick for the Bills.
Darius, the massive defensive tackle from Alabama, is the first real defensive lineman off the board, Tom.
And you mentioned it, Joey. Marcel Darius is a monster. So at 6'3", 319 pounds, this three-year performer out of Alabama is going to make an immediate impact on the Buffalo Bills defensive line. His ability with his great upper body strength to absolutely control linemen and make plays in the backfield is what makes him stand out so much. This guy's going to be an immediate impact to the defensive tackle position for the Buffalo Bills this year.
Joey, this is exactly what Buffalo needed. They were actually third in the league in passing defense last year, which is extremely, extremely good. But their rushing defense, dead last. Even worse than Denver. Great pickup for them. He will definitely stuff the middle of that line, pick up double teams. Great way for them to pick up that rushing defense. So it'll be a pretty formidable defense if Marcel Darius can pan out next year for the Bills.
Now, Von Miller is someone they were looking at earlier. Tom, do you believe that Miller would have been the pick if he were still on the board?
Absolutely. I think Von Miller might actually have been higher on their board than Marcel Darius. I certainly don't think they expected Miller to be gone at 2, but either way, they got a great player in Marcel Darius.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. It seemed that Von Miller was definitely the best defensive front seven player in this draft. Probably would have been taken by Buffalo, even though I think they still should have gone defensive tackle had Von Miller still been on the board, because you got to stop the run. One of the easiest parts for your defense to do, just stop the run, and Darius was definitely the right pick. Even if Von Miller was on the board, you go defensive tackle.
Guys, we are officially finished with the first 3 selections in the 2011 NFL Draft. Now on the clock, the Cincinnati Bengals at the 4th position, trying to rebound from a miserable 2010 campaign.
The 2010 Bengals failed to live up to the hype generated by their playoff appearance in 2009. 2 of their 4 victories came against the struggling Browns and Panthers.